So here's something I have been thinking about lately. Can a tiny PC like this actually replace an entire Homelab? Because right now I have got a full server running in my home. It works great, but it's big, it's heavy, and it's definitely not what you would call power efficient. And when something like this is running 24/7, you start to notice the electricity usage and sometimes even the noise. So I started wondering, do I really need a big server for this? Or could something much smaller handle it? So in this video, I'm going to try turning this mini PC, the GEEKOM A5 Pro mini PC, into a complete home server. The idea is to run my own personal cloud and AI stack locally, which could essentially replace media streaming platforms like Netflix and also saves me buying monthly subscription of Google Drive or iCloud storage. But the question is, can something this small actually pull that off? Let's find out. So for this experiment, I am going to use this little mini PC, which is the GEEKOM A5 Pro mini PC. Just to be transparent, GEEKOM actually sent this over for testing, but the idea behind this project didn't come from them. I was already looking for different options for building a smaller, low-power home server. And this seemed like a really interesting platform to try it on. And of course, you can do something like this on a lot of other hardware too. An Apple Mac Mini or even an older laptop you already have lying around. But what interested me about a mini PC like this, that it sits in a nice middle ground. It's much smaller and more power efficient than a traditional server. But because it's still a full x86 machine, you are not locked into a specific operating system. You can run Linux, Proxmox, Windows, or pretty much anything you want. The model I am using has an AMD Ryzen 5, which gives you 6 cores and 12 threads, along with 1 TB NVMe SSD and a 16 GB of RAM. Networking is also pretty solid for a small system like this, with a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, which is nice if you are moving large files around a home network. You also get quite a few ports, multiple USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, 2 HDMI outputs, and even an SD card reader. And one thing I like about this, it's still flexible to upgrade. The RAM is upgradable up to 64 GB, and there are 2 storage slots inside it. One M2 NVMe slot for fast storage, and the second one is M2 SATA slot, which comes handy if you want to add more capacity later to it. Technically, that NVMe slot is PCI. So I am planning to experiment with connecting external PCI devices or GPUs using adapters, but perhaps that's a separate video. So overall, it's a small system, but it still have enough CPU power, networking, and upgrade flexibility to make it an interesting candidate for a home server. Something like this ends up costing just a few cents a day over time, which is pretty reasonable for something that's running your entire home setup 24/7. But before I install anything, let's look at the architecture of what I am trying to build. I want this tiny machine to run quite a few services: storage, smart home automation, media streaming, automation tools, and even some local AI models. So instead of installing a single purpose operating system, I decided to run a hypervisor. And the one I chose is Proxmox. And if you're not familiar with it, Proxmox basically lets one physical machine run multiple virtual machines and containers at the same time. So instead of trying to cram everything into one operating system, each major service can run its own isolated environment. That makes it much easier to manage, easier to upgrade, and if something breaks, it doesn't take down the entire system. Now I should mention, you could truly build something like this using a TrueNAS scale as well. TrueNAS is a very popular NAS operating system which supports apps, Docker, and even virtual machine. In fact, I have a separate video where I walk through installing TrueNAS if your primary goal is building a NAS. But for this project, I wanted something a little bit more flexible, since this machine is going to be doing a lot more than just storage. So here's roughly what the architecture looks like. At the base, we have Proxmox running directly on the mini PC. On top of that, I am running a few virtual machines. One VM for Home Assistant, which will handle all the smart home automation. Another VM running OpenMediaVault, which will act as the NAS and manage shared storage. And then a separate VM for Ollama, which lets me run small local AI models. For the rest of the services, things like Jellyfin, Immich, N8N, Heimdall, and Pi-hole, those will run as Docker containers inside a single container environment. This approach keeps things fairly lightweight while still keeping the bigger services isolated. Now, it might sound like a lot for such a small machine, which is exactly why I was curious to see if this would actually work. Now that I know what applications I need in particular, I can start the actual build. The first step was installing the hypervisor, which is Proxmox. The installation itself is actually pretty straightforward. You download the ISO, flash it to a USB drive, boot the machine from the USB, and walk through the installer. Once the installation finished and the system rebooted, The nice thing about Proxmox is that everything is managed through a web interface. So instead of plugging a monitor and keyboard into the machine every time, you just open a browser on another computer in your network and log into the Proxmox dashboard. And from there, you can create virtual machines, allocate CPU and memory, manage storage, and basically control the entire system. At this point, this mini PC is not just a small computer. It's actually a tiny virtualization server. So the next step is start building out with the actual tech stack, starting with the NAS, which is Network Attached Storage. And as I mentioned before, for that I am using OpenMediaVault. The process for OMV is again pretty straightforward. First I downloaded the OMV ISO, uploaded it into the ISO images section inside Proxmox, and then created a new virtual machine. After filling out the VM creation form and attaching the ISO, I started the VM and installed OMV just like you would install in any other operating system. Once the installation finishes and the VM boots up, OMV shows the IP address along with the default credentials, which are admin and OpenMediaVault. At that point, you can just open a browser and access the OMV interface. I am not going to go deep into the OMV configuration because I have already covered the full setup process in a separate video. I'll leave that link in the description. But the idea is simple. Once everything is configured, you can mount the NAS as a network drive on your PC. And it basically behaves like any other local drive, except it's backed by a home server. Next is the smart home component. For that, I am running Home Assistant in its own virtual machine. Now installing Home Assistant on Proxmox is a little bit different. Luckily, the community has created a shell script that automates the entire installation, so all you really have to do is run the script and follow the on-screen prompts. Once the installation completes, you can see the VM's IP address inside the Proxmox. But an even easier way to access it is simply visiting homeassistant.local at port 8123, and that will take you directly to the Home Assistant setup page. Again, I am not going to go through the full configuration because I already have a detailed video walking through the entire Home Assistant setup process. But once everything is configured, Home Assistant essentially becomes the control center for your entire smart home. And for anyone who wants to replicate this setup, all the commands I am using in this video are listed in the description. For the rest of the services, running separate virtual machines for each application would waste a lot of resources. So instead, I created a container environment and deployed several applications using Docker containers. The OS installation step is basically the same as what we did for OMV. Upload the Ubuntu image, create a VM and install the OS. Once Ubuntu is installed, I SSH into the server and install Docker. To make this easier, I created a small shell script that installs Docker and Docker Compose automatically, so I don't have to type all the commands manually. Now instead of installing every service individually, I created a single Docker Compose file that deploys the entire stack at once. This Compose file spins up containers for Portainer, which is our container management tool, Jellyfin for media streaming, Immich for photo management, Pi-hole for network ad blocking, NA10 for automation workflows, and last but not the least, Heimdall, our unified dashboard. So instead of manually spinning up 6 different containers, I can deploy the entire environment with a single command. Right now, I am using local volume mounts, but you could easily mount the OMV NAS path here if you want containers to use the NAS for storage. I have actually added comments in the compose file explaining how to do that. Once everything is deployed, we can confirm the containers are running using the usual Docker command, docker ps. But since we installed Portainer, there is a much nicer way to manage everything. If we open the Portainer UI, we can see all the containers running, monitor their health, restart them, and manage the entire stack from one place. And if I navigate to the Jellyfin URL, we can see the media server is already running. Just like that, the entire application stack is up and running. So as a little bonus for this video, I am sharing that compose file in the description. If you run it, it will basically spin up the entire ecosystem for you. Jellyfin, Immich, NA10, Pi-hole, Heimdall, and the rest of the stack. The final piece of the setup is local AI. For that, I created another virtual machine dedicated to Ollama. I allocated 4 CPU cores and 4 GB of RAM for this VM. Installed Ubuntu again and then SSH'd into the machine. From there, installing Ollama is basically a single command. Once Ollama is installed, I pulled a lightweight model like TinyLlama, and just like that, we now have the local AI running inside the Homelab. Now obviously, this mini PC doesn't have a dedicated GPU, so we are running smaller models here. But even on CPU, the performance is actually pretty usable. For example, when I tested TinyLlama on this system, it generated responses at around 21 tokens per second, which is fast enough to feel interactive in real-world usage. So while it's not going to compete with the huge cloud models, it's more than capable for things like automation workflows, local assistants, or connecting with tools like NA10. And at this point, this tiny home server officially has AI capabilities built in it. So now everything is up and running, and this tiny PC is hosting quite a few services. Through Heimdall, which acts as a simple dashboard, I can quickly access all the different applications running on the system. From here, I can jump into OpenMediaVault for storage, Immich for photo management, NA10 for automation workflows, or Jellyfin for media streaming. And all of this is orchestrated by Proxmox VE, which is managing the virtual machines and containers on this single mini PC. What's really interesting though is how little power the system actually uses. You can see here it's barely sweating even while running all these services on this tiny PC, which is dramatically lower than a traditional server or old desktop running 24/7. And honestly, it's pretty impressive how much functionality you can pack into a system of this size. Of course, building a home lab on something tiny like this comes with a few trade-offs. The first one is storage redundancy. In a traditional NAS setup, you'd usually have multiple hard drives configured in RAID so that if a drive fails, your data is still protected. In this build, we are relying on a single NVMe drive, which means there is no built-in redundancy. But that doesn't mean backups are not possible. If you remember, it has two PCI slots, one for NVMe and one for M2 SATA stick. Another trade-off is the AI side of things. Running local models on CPU works surprisingly well. But without a dedicated GPU, you are not going to be running massive AI models locally. So while this tiny server can handle a lot, it's not meant to replace a full server rack. But considering the size, power consumption, and flexibility, it's actually pretty amazing how much you can run on something this small. What I really like about a setup like this, that it puts a lot of controls back in your hand. If you want to try something similar yourself, I have shared all the installation commands along with the Docker Compose file for the container stack in the description, so you can deploy the whole setup easily. Instead of relying on a bunch of cloud services and subscriptions, you can run storage, media automation, and even some AI locally on your hardware. If you are thinking of building something similar, I have left the links and a small discount code in the description. And if you like deeper dives into some of the components like Home Assistant, OpenMediaVault, or local AI setups, I have made separate videos for them. So feel free to check them out. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.